Hey everybody, welcome back to another Jackson Jetsetting cruise ship tour. Today I am coming to you from the Carnival Elation. She's currently sailing out of Jacksonville, Florida, but at one time she was the flagship of the Carnival fleet. So you can go find on YouTube some of these old ads. They're pretty fun to watch, just what Carnival looked like back in the 90s. But we're going to do a tour today of what she looks like here in 2025. We're going to start on the top decks, but a little preview of what's to come, this beautiful atrium. Up on the top deck, deck 15 is the sun deck. And deck 15 is just that. It's an open deck with a few sun loungers around it. Kind of a hidden part of the ship. If you're looking for some peace and quiet, this spot was never really busy except for at Sailaway when we were sailing under the bridge in Jacksonville. Beautiful little spot. Do you think that they could do a little bit more with this area? Maybe add some shuffleboard or other activities? I did notice with this ship compared to a lot of the other ships that I've sailed on, that there just are a lot of open spaces that normally would be monetized on some of those larger ships. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but just keep that in mind if you're sailing on the Elation. Now the grand deck is deck 14, and they've converted this into a 9-hole mini golf course as well as a fun little spot to play some cornhole. I liked that. When I look at the old ship models, I believe this used to be the jogging track, so there's no dedicated jogging track here on the Elation. So if you're a jogger, this is not going to be the ship for you. But if you are a golfer, very fun mini golf course. And the fun crew will do some scheduled activities up here, some mini golf competitions, things like that. You can look into the top of the atrium glass over to the right as well. And this gives us a good view of the only pool here on the Carnival Elation down on the pool deck. You have a nice sprawling outdoor deck here though for getting some sun. This ship being one of the smaller ships in the fleet, you do have a lot of room and passenger space to spread around. Now the newer engineered ships definitely have a lot more science behind them in terms of extracting every vacation dollar out of their passengers. So it is nice to go on an older ship and see just how much space we have to spread around. Now our first stop on deck 12 is going to be the Cloud 9 Spa. And what I like about the Cloud 9 Spa is they actually don't sell access to a steam room and sauna. They just give that away for free to every guest. So if you're someone who's a fan of that, like myself, it's nice just to be able to access that in the locker room. You walk through the spa also to get to the fitness center. I thought it was a great size for a small ship like the Elation. They even have a spin room, exercise room, which is really great. Outside of that, the only other option here on the deck is going to be Camp Ocean. And Camp Ocean separates kids into 3 different groups: penguins, stingrays, and sharks. And it goes from ages 2 to 12. There's separate teen facilities that we'll show you down below. But a nice space here on one of the top decks, lots of natural light, which I do see a lot of kids clubs sometimes not really having those windows out to the real world. So I do like this. It just makes me feel nice and happy dropping my kid off here. Lots of PlayStations you see over there to the left for the older kids. And so they have all sorts of activities scheduled throughout the cruise to keep the kids entertained, so the adults can have a little bit of a vacation on their own as well. You have a nice view of the large atrium here on Elation from deck 12. And now let's explore deck 11. Deck 11 is called the Veranda deck, so it's going to be above the main pool deck. You're not going to have a ton of activities here besides aft on the ship, but we'll show you all of that in just a sec. So there's going to be a lot of sun loungers here. If you're someone who wants to lay out, get a tan, maybe read a book, the Elation's going to be a great ship for that. I see a lot of competition for these chairs on some of the larger ships. I just didn't see that on my Elation cruise. Maybe it was just the cruise I was on, but a very nice option available to you. On this deck, as I said, aft, you do have 3 water slides as well as a kind of mini twin slide for the younger kids. So they descend down to deck 10. But it's nice that a small ship like the Elation has such a massive water slide, honestly. And there was never a line because there were not very many kids during my cruise. Obviously, during holiday times, you're going to see pretty long lines there. But a pretty fun slide for a small ship like Elation. And so this whole area is called the Carnival Waterworks. And if they're not tall enough for the 3 bigger water slides, there are twin water slides that they can go down, as well as a splash pad that kind of exists within all of the different water slides. So I do like how Carnival does that. They kind of squeeze in a lot of things into this space. So really nice that the kids can enjoy that. And then there are more sun loungers available for the adults that maybe don't want to go down the water slides. The kids can check in. So a lot of space here. I think this is one of the nicer spots on the ship if you were asking my opinion. It's fun to have that Carnival whale tail there too for a fun photo. If you're watching this video and you're trying to plan your own Elation vacation, we can definitely help at Jackson Jetsetting. We run our own travel agency. I will make sure that you have the best Carnival vacation ever. You can reach out to us at jacksonjetsetting.com/book to receive a free quote. And if you're watching this and you just love cruise content, please consider subscribing to the channel or at least liking this video. It really helps me out. I make content across all different brands of cruising. I just absolutely love being at sea, and I appreciate you all watching. Now we're just continuing our tour of Deck 11 here. Lots more seating here. See, they are well set up for everyone. I'm just going to keep saying that. There's a lot of sun loungers here on the Elation. But now as we walk towards the pool, I do want to point something out. Now on the port side and the starboard side, you see these two shade structures. These are seating areas for people that don't want to necessarily be out in the sun. But I will say the left side is actually the dedicated outdoor smoking area. So if you want to avoid that, I would head only to the starboard side here on the Elation. That area is non-smoking. I will say though that the ramp for people that need a little bit of help, it's going to be on the smoking side. So just keep that in mind. Really pretty views from either side though. And very funny that they have the lifeboats all the way up here on the Elation. Just a very different feel of the ship, different time and era that this ship came from. Some nice areas here to play some ping pong. And that basically is it for Deck 11. Down on Deck 10 is where things get a little funky. There are a few promenade decks. They don't go all the way around the ship, but they do lead down to a fun area that I think a lot of the ship never discovers. So this is a little secret for watching this video. You walk past all these life-saving equipment things. It kind of feels like you're not supposed to be here, but it is public space that you're totally allowed to be here. And there are steps that lead to a nice viewing platform above the bridge. This is a great spot for sail away, just getting some peace and quiet on the ship. Really like this area. There's a little secret door to the Deck 11 cabins over here. So Deck 10 goes back up to a little part of Deck 11 here above the bridge. But the rest of Deck 10 is really dedicated to pools and fun. Now, one thing I was impressed about the Elation is that they have brought the newer concepts from the other Carnival ships on board. They have the Red Frog pub over here to the left with lots of rum options, all of your pool drinks, and they have the Blue Iguana Cantina over to the right. So you can get your margaritas, your tequila drinks over there. And then you have the pool in the middle here. So a very small pool. That's one drawback here for the Elation. It's from a different time. You're not going to have these big resort style pools, swim up bars, things like that you maybe have seen on other tours on my channel. But it is a pool. There are a couple hot tubs spread out throughout the pool deck as well. And then you have stairs here that lead down to the lower decks. We will check that out in just a sec. On the opposite side is the towel station, as well as a place to check out those life jackets for the little kids. And then that leads us over to the fun part of this deck, which is of course the food. Several different restaurant concepts back here. They pack a lot into a small space. To the left is going to be Guy's Burger Joint. This is one of my favorite restaurants on any cruise ship anywhere. Some of the best burgers at sea. To the right is the Blue Iguana. And so this is where they'll serve burritos, tacos, and they have a nice salsa bar there for putting all the right toppings that you want on your tacos there. They make all the tortillas fresh. Really think that this food is definitely slept on in the cruise industry. I think it's some of the best Mexican food at sea. I really mean that. And then in the middle here is an extra charge option. This is the Seafood Shack. So if you want some fresh oysters, crab legs, lobster, that sort of stuff, you can order that here. It's not included in your cruise vacation, but if you're looking for a little bit of a plus up on your food, you can definitely do that. And then behind all of these options is going to be Tiffany's, which is the ship's buffet. So it's got a fun theme to it. It's peacock themed. If you've seen some of the older videos on my channel of some of the older Carnival ships, you see that the themes for these in the early 2000s get really wild, and you can see a little bit of evidence of that here in Tiffany's. Though I will say that the Elation was definitely not as wildly wacky looking as some of the other Carnival ships that I have toured for this channel. Carnival does their buffets right. It's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as some late night options as well. They have a few other food concepts back here that I will point out, but lots of different stations here. The Good Eats area is going to be basically your main entrees. They have a salad bar as well as a dessert bar in the center. A couple of desserts are only available on embarkation day, so definitely go get those cakes and things on embarkation day and start celebrating your cruise vacation. As we make our way back, we'll see the salad bar to the right here. Definitely make sure that you are eating your veggies on a cruise vacation. And then we have the deli, which is included in your cruise. It's made to order sandwiches. They heat them up in the oven there. Very nice late night option. You have a sports bar over here to the left, which is an interesting addition. I sailed during the NFL season and it was quite busy back here with lots of televisions playing all the games. So it's fun that they have that option here on the Elation. And then you have Pizza Pirate, which makes delicious pizzas. Very popular option throughout the day, open fairly late. You can actually order drinks here as well. And then there are some outdoor tables here on the back deck. So if you're looking for some fresh air after grabbing your food or a pizza, you can definitely enjoy that here. And this area does stretch on either side of the ship, so there's a few more tables and chairs that you can enjoy your meal with a little fresh air. Always nice to do that on a cruise vacation. We're going to take the stairs down to deck 9 directly from this area. And this leads to Serenity, which is the adults only area on the Elation. Now on other ships, this is a much more sprawling area, but there are 2 hot tubs to enjoy. Without the kids, weren't too many kids on my sailing, so I didn't see really the utility of this area. There's no like dedicated bar here either. So I think this is definitely one detraction from some of the other Carnival ships that I've toured, is that the Serenity areas seem to be less of an afterthought and more purposely built. Directly behind the Serenity area in our first real indoor deck, we have the Alchemy Bar. Alchemy Bar is gigantic on Elation. That's pretty awesome. Normally this bar gets quite busy. Not on my sailing, believe it or not. The Alchemy Bar has really incredible cocktails, some of the best cocktails on any Carnival ship. So definitely get to know the bartenders there if you are willing to imbibe. And then as we walk towards the rest of deck 9, we're going to see a big indoor promenade. Great spot for just enjoying the ocean views from indoors. You have a small Swarovski store. You do have the Comedy Club, which is the Limelight Lounge. It turns into the nightclub as well. Very pretty space. This is definitely something that has been redone in recent years. This one felt fresh and new, definitely in the design style of some of the newer ships that I've sailed with Carnival for the channel. A really nice spot in here, really pretty, good spot for some music late night as well. There's typically 2 or 3 comedians, even on short sailings with Carnival, which I really appreciate. It's nice that they put a lot of thought and effort into their entertainment on board, at least from the comedian side. And they might host some other events in here like art auctions, trivia. So it really just depends on the cruise. So we make our way out to the rest of deck 9. To the right here is going to be Cherry on Top. And Cherry on Top is the extra charge candy shop on board. So you can charge it to your Sail and Sign account and enjoy something sweet from some of your favorites on land. Directly across from that is going to be Java Blue Cafe. So this is your specialty coffee station on board. There's a number of different espresso stations at the different bars on board as well. I think that's something that Carnival does really well. But if you want like an espresso martini, you actually can't get it from the coffee shop. You have to go to one of the bars, which is pretty funny. Romeo and Juliet's is another public space here that they do a lot of group activities in. So I played trivia in here during my voyage. They have live music in here at some points, karaoke, and it does have a Verona theme to it where Romeo and Juliet was set. Actually just went there last summer, so very funny that they have a theme on board to look just like the city. So very cool to check that out. Now let's head on to the rest of deck 9. This is definitely the main public deck indoors. Here's the drama bar. This is the casinos bar. They also have a lot of screens available for sports games, so a lot of people hang out here watching sports. It's a fun little atmosphere. They have live music in the evenings as well, and they're really great. Tucked in the behind here is going to be the Dream Studio, so if you want to do a photo shoot, you have that available. And then since the casino is closed, I'm going to take you through what the casino looks like. So they have every type of table game available. They have lots of machines, updated machines. And this being a smaller ship, it's not the largest casino that I have seen at sea, but it's definitely not small. So lots of options available here. It's quite busy in the evenings, as you can imagine. And they do have smoking in here, so if you are susceptible to smoke, I would avoid this area. Some cruise lines have dedicated non-smoking rooms now in the casinos, or just ban it all together like Celebrity. Carnival, not the case. As we make our way back to the main walkway here, there is a small extra charge food station here. This is Bonsai Sushi to go. I highly recommend their poke bowls. I think it's one of the best deals on the ship at $10 plus gratuity. Really fresh tuna I always get on every voyage. Great spot for like a high-end lunch for not a lot of money. Here is Pixels. So this is where you'll find your ship photos from either on shore or at dinner. Some of the special backdrops that they do throughout the cruise for formal night. This is also where you can pick up your pin if you are a status holder within Carnival, at least until May 31st of 2026, where they'll be getting rid of that perk. And then tucked in the corner here is the ship's arcade. So it's called Virtual World. There's a Star Wars pinball machine that I ended up playing a bunch during my voyage. I loved that they had pinball on board. And this leads to the Mikado Lounge. Mikado Lounge is the ship's theater. So lots and lots of events in the evenings going on here. Love the space, nice and wide. I like the seating too, very comfortable. So for those that kind of like to lounge out, never really saw the theater super full, except for Love and Marriage. So nice little theater here on Elation. Back to the virtual world though, you have a few games, few fun virtual reality games, Jurassic Park, Halo, and then a few crane game-like things that you win some prizes. Next door is the Teen Club, Club 02. They always put these pretty close to the arcade, as I like to call it, the kiddie casino. So they'll do tons of fun events through here for the teenagers on board, lots of board games, video games, little dance parties, stuff like that. So a lot of fun on board for them. Then down on deck 8, we began our tour of deck 8. We have the sort of shopping plaza as you walk into the lower level of the Mikado Lounge that we have already shown you. But you have a small sundry store with sort of Carnival logo gear, sunglasses, that sort of thing. And then you have the jewelry shop. The jewelry shop does share some space with the liquor store on board, so you can buy some duty-free liquors. They'll hold it for you till the end of the cruise. You can't take it back to the cabin with you. This gives us a good look at the atrium. The atrium definitely feels a little bit like a 1990s mall, but I did appreciate the look for what it was. It kind of brought me back to my younger days. And inside the Mark Twain Lounge, this is sort of the ship's library. They did some chef's table events in here as well. But I did like the theme of this. Definitely felt like a steamship or something out of like Disneyland, right around the rivers of America. So I liked this space. I like that Carnival themes certain rooms pretty heavily. And that's certainly the case for Duke's, which is the ship's piano bar. Didn't spend any time in here. Didn't see this on the schedule too much. But it is themed to New York City, and you can definitely tell right now because there is a massive Statue of Liberty right here in the middle of the room. Actually kind of like this, and certainly not the wackiest room that I've ever been in on a Carnival ship, but you're starting to see what they're going to be doing later on with some of the theming on board. Now we come to our first dining room on board. This is the Imagination dining room. And you can walk through this to the bank of elevators. There's 2 elevator banks here on the Elation. And then there's going to be a galley that you can't walk through. That's why I've taken you down to deck 7 here to show you the very bottom of the atrium. This is where you can do a little bit of business. They have some ATMs down here. They have the shore excursions desk. They have guest services. Then they have the atrium bar, which features a lot of live music throughout the cruise, and that echoes through the whole atrium, so giving a nice ambiance. You do have a hallway that'll connect to the other elevator banks. And that's if you don't want to take the very fun glass elevators all the way up to the pool deck. So that hallway that connects serves as the ship's Park West Gallery. So they host art auctions throughout the cruise here. And so if you find yourself on the wrong side of the ship and you need to get to the other side of that galley, which is directly above us, you can lead yourself over to this stairwell or elevator bank, and that'll lead you to the Inspiration Restaurant. So the Inspiration Restaurant's very pretty much the same theme as the Imagination Restaurant, just in a different location on the ship. Now I did want to show you my cabin in this video. So I had an ocean view cabin down on deck 6. There's not really many other areas on the ship beneath deck 7 for the public. There's the spots that you get off the ship, and then you have the medical station. So that's kind of rare to see. Usually there's the pool decks and all the activities outside, and then you have a whole bunch of cabins. Then you have the interior decks, then typically a few more decks of cabins beneath those. So the Elation very differently laid out, pretty much all the public space above all the cabins. So I was on the deck, first full deck really, that had all cabins. There's a few cabins that have been added after the design process, after the ship unveiled itself in the 90s, and they've added cabins where there used to be public space on the top decks, kind of to add balconies. They didn't have balconies when this ship premiered, believe it or not. So you may find yourself on one of the higher decks for that reason. So I had one of the original cabins on board. Plenty of space for me as a solo cruiser though. Really nice spacious bathroom. Shower with a shower curtain here. You can adjust the shower head to your height. Felt like there's plenty of room for me. I'm about 6 feet tall, so I had no problems fitting in here. You'd be surprised on some ships how even just being 6 foot, which isn't truly that tall, how my head might be hitting the ceiling. Little desk area. They have a little chair with no back tucked in under the desk there. Good use of space for a ocean view cabin. I felt like I had a lot of room. I feel like they could have done something a little bit more with this little corner here. But if you're looking to share a cabin with a friend, these beds do split up into 2 twins. So you would have a lot of space if you were sharing a cabin. This one did connect, and I could hear the cabin next to me, so just keep that in mind. Nice large television, though, and a great view out the window here. So that should just about do it for my tour of the Carnival Elation. Did this video convince you that the Carnival Elation is for you? Do you like the older ships? Do you like the smaller ships? Or are you more convinced that maybe one of the newer, larger ships in Carnival's fleet is for you? Let me know in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.